One name has had a particular place in the hearts of generations who enjoy the beloved American ice cream shops: Friendly's. For decades, Friendly's ice cream has been a cherished destination, synonymous with indulgent sundaes, delicious burgers, and a warm, family-friendly atmosphere. However, a cloud has recently descended across this venerable company, prompting many to ask, what happened to the declining popularity of Friendly's ice cream? We will look into the causes of the demise of this once thriving institution in our investigation, providing light on the difficulties it encountered and the sense of reminiscence its devoted patrons continue to feel for it. But before we dig, smash the subscribe button and ring the notification bell. Friendly's is a beloved restaurant chain on the East Coast of the United States. It traces its origins back to a humble ice cream cone stand. In 1935, two young brothers from Massachusetts, Curtis and Presley Blake, embarked on a journey to secure employment and kickstart their careers. At 18 and 20, they faced the daunting challenge of seeking opportunities during the harsh times of the Great Depression. Instead, they managed to secure a loan of $547 from their parents, which they wisely invested in launching a modest ice cream shop in Springfield, aptly named Friendly Ice Cream. This venture predated the establishment of Dairy Queen and Baskin-Robbins, making it a pioneering endeavor in the world of ice cream and dessert establishments. Their primary competitors at the time were local drugstores that commonly served ice cream at their soda fountains, usually priced at just 5 cents per cone. The resourceful Blake brothers devised a wise strategy. They offered their ice cream cones at the same price, but with a clever twist. They included a second scoop of ice cream, giving customers more value. While this approach might have meant thinner profit margins, it substantially increased customer traffic. Offering 2 scoops for the price of 1 was an immensely enticing proposition, especially during the Great Depression when every penny counted. The Blake brothers had a terrific first day of business, selling 500 ice cream cones to a long queue of customers. They saved enough money in 5 years to start a second Friendly ice cream location. They added hamburgers to the menu at the new site to draw in more customers all year, solidifying their dominance in the industry. Expanding their menu steadily over the years, the restaurant chain embarked on a journey to see them operating an impressive 600 restaurants across 16 states by the end of the 1970s. It may seem like an ambitious undertaking, but it's important to note that this expansion occurred for 44 years. Friendly's flourished a beloved, family-friendly dining establishment throughout this period, earning its reputation as a cherished destination for many. The Blake brothers had consistently prioritized the customer experience, going above and beyond to cultivate a welcoming and friendly atmosphere for all patrons. Presley said, "We were two friendly guys, and we wanted our little store to be a friendly place." For instance, if a customer ever experienced the unfortunate mishap of dropping their ice cream cone on the ground, always a disheartening moment, they would receive a free replacement. Along with their dedication to fostering a welcoming environment, they decided not to lease any of their businesses. By making this choice, they could have a tight control over each restaurant and ensure they continually upheld their high standards. Initially, they did everything themselves and were experts at cost control. One brother made the ice cream while the other collected orders from customers. Surprisingly, they avoided taking on a sizable debt by returning the revenues to the company. Additionally, they maintained a modest compensation policy, never taking home more than $50,000 per year in personal income. Over time, the Blake brothers had methodically constructed a robust company that had grown to a valuation in the millions of dollars. The Hershey Chocolate Corporation sought stability in the 1970s by diversifying into various industries. Their pivotal action was the astonishing $164 million purchase of Friendly ice cream. They added Reese's Pieces as a novel ice cream topping for this expansion. Additionally, Hershey launched an initiative to open additional eateries and convert smaller regional chains into Friendly locations, substantially doubling their sales in just 10 years. Interestingly, despite its growing size, the network had greater instability during this time. Hershey reported a decline in profitability in 1987 despite rising revenue, which the company had blamed on labor shortage and more intense competition. Despite increasing their restaurant operations, they had an issue of getting fewer patrons. The following year, Hershey decided to refocus on consumer items and sold their restaurant operation to an investment group led by Donald N. Smith, a well known name in the company, best known for his work at Burger King and McDonald's. Through leveraged buyouts, Smith's group acquired restaurant businesses like Perkins Family Restaurants and Friendly Ice Cream, which caused Hershey to incur more debt and face financial difficulties. John Johnson undertook several promising initiatives to revitalize the company shortly after assuming leadership. He initiated a rebranding campaign, transforming the formerly known Delightful Sweets into the more straightforward Sweet Delights, aligning it with the colloquial term used by its customers. He began distributing ice cream to thousands of supermarkets, a strategy initially introduced by Hershey but remained largely experimental under their management. Additionally, he aimed to enhance Friendly's image, giving it a touch of sophistication. He embarked on an ambitious renovation project, revamping most restaurants while shuttering some older, less successful ones. He introduced premium items like steak and other high priced offerings to diversify the menu and attract a broader customer base. Unfortunately, despite these extensive efforts, they failed to reverse the company's fortunes. In 1997, the situation grew more challenging as rival chains such as Olive Garden and Outback Steakhouse continued their nationwide expansion. Additionally, there was a pressing need to significantly reduce their substantial debt, which amounted to nearly $400 million. Due to the dual factors of declining sales and actual interest expenses, they consistently reported annual losses. To address the issue, they implemented a strategy to reduce their debt burden, which included conducting a public stock offering. And through this offering, they raised $90 million by selling a portion of the company's shares on the stock market and subsequently used these funds to retire a part of their outstanding debt. They also undertook a significant debt restructuring effort, which involved issuing bonds. However, despite these efforts, the situation continued to deteriorate. Friendly's stock price plummeted from $26 to nearly $2 in 3 years. Interestingly, at its critical juncture, co-founder Presley Blake, who was approaching 90 years old, made a remarkable comeback and became deeply involved in the company again. His brother Curtis disapproved of his decision to re-engage with the company, leading to tension. However, Presley remained resolute in his determination to be actively involved. Presley had never truly let go of his emotional attachment to the company he had founded. Understandably so, considering he had devoted his entire life to it. He was disheartened by the new direction Donald Smith had steered the company towards. He disagreed with the company's policy of closing and selling locations to franchisees to pay off debt and how they depend on debt for fundraising. He was unhappy with their choice to take a more premium tack, alienating some traditional blue-collar clients. In addition, he thought that management favored the other Perkins brand over Friendly's. He grabbed the chance to buy almost 900,000 shares for $200,000 when the price of the company's stock fell. As a result of this purchase, he became the company's largest individual shareholder, representing around 12% of all shares. In addition, he filed a lawsuit over the business, alleging that $3.5 million had been taken, notably from the corporate plane that Smith used to visit. Although that didn't happen, Presley expressed deep concern and even proposed to provide $50 million of his money in exchange for Donald Smith's resignation and the repayment of the $3.5 million. However, Friendly's was ultimately sold due to intense pressure from Presley and other investors. For $337 million, Sun Capital Partners bought the business in 2007. They kept closing locations during the recession, which made things worse. By 2011, Friendly's had trouble paying off its debt and declared bankruptcy. They overcame the setback and came out of bankruptcy with big plans. They hired John McGuire, who had previously served as the chief operating officer at Panera Bread. He introduced a turnaround plan with the central theme of reverting to the basics to revitalize the company. The procedure involved streamlining the menu, reducing prices, enhancing service quality, and maintaining cleaner restaurants. They aimed to cater to a more focused customer base with improved service. However, the actual effectiveness of these changes remains a subject of uncertainty, considering that Friendly's continued to shrink, closing most of their remaining restaurants over the decade following their initial bankruptcy. The long term success of their strategies remains in question. They even sold their retail ice cream company to Dean Foods to focus more on their restaurants in 2016. However, 3 years later, Dean Foods declared bankruptcy, indicating issues and problems with their business. When Maguire left the position in 2018, the company underwent a significant transformation. The company then experienced its second bankruptcy in 2020. They said that their efforts to revitalize the brand were succeeding during this difficult time. However, the sudden entrance of the pandemic unexpectedly interrupted their development, leading to setbacks everywhere. During the bankruptcy proceedings, the company underwent its final acquisition, purchased by the Amici Partners Group for a mere $2 million. It's remarkable to contemplate the sale of an iconic franchise like Friendly's for just $2 million. This transaction represents a substantial decline in value, with the franchise retaining less than 1% of its worth compared to its previous sale 14 years prior. Among other measures, the recent change in ownership has resulted in the launch of a Sweet Rewards program. However, given the marked drop in its reputation, the scope of this once iconic and well-loved brand's future must now be seriously considered. Although Friendly's may not currently be the industry leader in American ice cream stores like it once was, those who have cherished memories of its sundaes, burgers, and welcoming atmosphere will always have a particular place in their hearts for it. Let me know in the comment section below. Does Friendly's operate in 2023? Don't forget to hit the subscribe button and ring the notification bell so you can stay updated with more insightful content.